Rhok! Right, how many of you guys are gonna buy your first bike this year? It's going to be that summertime time, and I'm sure some of you guys are gonna buy a bike. Show of hands, who's buying their first bike this year? I can't see your fucking hands. You're gonna have to comment. Tell me your hands up. Sitting there with a fucking hand in the air like I can see that shit. Use your head. You know, I think it's a good time though for people getting into motorcycles right now. I feel like the options for new riders are so many that it's a different world than it was when I got my first bike. I bought my first bike used. I've always thought, who the hell would buy a brand new bike for a starter bike? But the thing is the prices are coming down so much, and there's so many good options that are good for starters. It really is. It's a different ballgame. It really was. Like, I bought my first bike, my 2001 R6, for like $4 grand. Or for like an extra grand, you can buy a brand new bike nowadays. Certainly not a 600, but probably something more suitable for your first bike. 10 years ago when I got into riding, like I said, there just wasn't the options like there is now. It was either buy like a used 600, that was probably your best bet, because you could get a used 600 for, like I said, around $4 grand or $5 grand or so. The more appropriate starter bikes were just too lame. I mean, honestly, 250cc bikes, which everyone seems to have. You know, in other countries it seems like that's, you know, like that seems like it'd be better, but I mean, you have to look at the roads we ride on out here. It's a 250 just doesn't have enough legs for the most part for most of our roads. And then the ultimate problem too is if you buy a 600, I mean, if you buy a 250, what happens to everybody who buys a 250? They get bored of it right away. I've made a whole video talking about this. I am not trying to, like, you know, down them, because there's plenty of people that ride 250s and enjoy them and love them. Whoa, it's rough! What a rough road. Let's not wheelie on this road again, so I can live a little bit longer. We're kind of stuck as a new rider back then of either buying something that was, yeah, appropriate for you as a new bike, but you're gonna get sick of right away, and then have to, you know, go try to re-dump it off to get a 600, or try to bite the bullet, buy a 600, and hopefully not kill yourself. So, you know, it wasn't as kind of a world back then to us. You know, just having, like, it was like the Ninja 250. There was also the Ninja 500, but both of them back then looked like, you know, they looked like fucking funny. They look like a robot from Johnny Number 5. I mean, they're just ugly, weird 80s looking bikes. They're just square, and they never updated the looks of them, you know. And for a while there, the 250 looked really good when they updated the look before they replaced it with the 300. But as I said, the 300 is a better option than the 250 for sure. But I still say it's a bike you'd probably get kind of bored of kind of quickly. What I think is so interesting now is all these like 500s and stuff they have. Like Honda's got some, I think Yamaha's got some. You know, people are like, they're getting smart with the market here, because I mean, look, dude, the you know, with the price, you know, back when I bought my 1000, it used to be pretty much standard that, you know, a 1000cc bike would cost you around $10,000 to $11,000 out the door, and 600 would cost you $6,000 to $7,000 out the door. You know, that was the way it went. And that has changed so much now. I'm seeing sticker prices for 600s now right around the 10,000 mark, and leader bikes are costing as much as $15,000 to $16,000. Like I said, they've got all these kind of intermediate starting bikes now, 500s and other things that are all around the $5,000 mark or so. And especially since you're buying it from a dealership versus, you know, buying a used one, it's easier to get a loan. You know, it's hard to get a loan for a used bike. What I want to know though is how many of you guys who are in the market for new bikes are considering one of these newer affordable bikes out here. You know, what is it? There's, I think, 3 or 4 500s out there now. There's a few other bikes like that. I think 500 is a good way to go for a beginner too. A lot of people would assume a 500 is like almost the same power as a 600, but they're really not, because they're pretty much all, I think, parallel twins and stuff. And it's just a different kind of power. You also got a lot of those 650 kind of bikes, like the Ninja 650 and the SV 650. Those are bikes that really make sort of a in-the-between power, and those have always been fairly affordable. But, you know, I think I think the market had to look at it. I think all the manufacturers had to stop and take a look at what was going on with the sales, with the price of bikes and the economy, and you know, I mean, it just wasn't adding up. The price that the bikes are costing, combined with the money in people's pockets, just wasn't there. They were smart to change it, in my opinion. They're smart to, you know, come out with that sort of in-between market. A lot of good dual sports out there for you guys now too. There used to not be near that many street legal dual sports, and there's starting to be a good bit more. Still can't get one of these in America factory legal, but the dealership over well, I guess, I don't know, what is it, Allen now? I guess they moved. It's the Central Honda Yamaha over in Allen or Plano. I mean, they're taking these things and they're making them legal, ready to go. Although I don't know if a 450 would be a great starter bike even on the street. I mean, you could do it, you certainly could, but what makes this bike, I think, a little bit tricky for a new rider is most single cylinders like this have a very low, snappy, quick response throttle torquey thing that they do, and that makes it, it doesn't make it undrivable, it just makes it maybe a little more of a handful for a new rider. And since I've got enough of you guys, enough of my subscribers are of a, I want to say like a younger, or, you know, like a lot of newer riders, or people are going to get into riding soon, I just kind of thought I'd throw it out there, wondering how many of you guys plan to get one of those, what you're interested in. But I think even like a 500 or a 650 or something, I mean, if you're not a speed nut and you actually just enjoy riding and hitting back roads and stuff, and you're not, you know, going 180 miles an hour or even 150 isn't your thing, those are really good bikes, man. You buy one of those as your first bike and ride it for fucking 15 years or something. Anyway, what do you guys think? Comments, please. Let's talk about it. My underwear, into my pants, into my socks, into my shoes. No, rev it up! We're really gonna give it beans on fire air. We're just wanting to run here. As it does that, it spills. Get brave.